in your career as a woman in leadership, or perhaps you're in a different leadership role. We have all been there at some point in our careers. And sometimes you need a little help and a little support to help you become unstuck. So, in this video today, what I'm going to do is share with you 3 steps or strategies to help you start becoming unstuck in your career so that you have a bit more clarity in terms of your next steps, in terms of where you want to go and the direction you want your career to go to. Also, this opportunity to ask me questions. I will be here to answer any questions as it relates to helping you get to that next level on your career journey. If you have anything, I'm here to support you. This is a Friday evening. I typically have a little bit more time to spend with you all Friday evenings. So I'm here to really answer any questions that you have. And I'm going to also share with you what I did personally, because I have personally been on the same road as it relates to career clarity many years ago, and I want to share with you what I did specifically to help me gain more clarity to be where I am in front of you right now. Now, this particular topic came up on a poll that I had on my LinkedIn page, and the page talks about what are women in leadership looking for right now in terms of support. And there were several topics that were there, but one of them that we've talked about already, so you want to check the live out, is about rambling. So rambling is something that we don't want to do a lot of. So that was one topic that we've talked about here live on YouTube. The second topic, which is what we're going to talk about today, is that clarity in your career, or they may be unsure of the next direction of their career. So if you are at this place where you feel like you're a bit stuck, you may be starting out in your career, you may be in the middle of your career, or you may be at the very end of it and you're wondering what's next, what do I do? Then this is the video for you. This is a live video, so there typically is a point where people will join and I will say hello to them. If you are watching this part of the live, then you are watching the replay, so just bear with me. I do want to say hello to those who join and greet them, and then we'll get right into the strategies that you can do to help you gain more clarity in your career. And if you have any questions, this is the place for you to be today. Feel free to ask me any questions as it relates to your career. I will provide you with over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, a manager, and a director, and an executive coach, and a career coach to help you make some movement in your career. So I want to say hello to James. Hello, welcome, welcome. And JB Copley, hello, welcome, welcome. I want to know where you all are joining in this big, beautiful world today. And let me know in the comments below, what do you need help with as it relates to your career? What questions do you have? And if you like this topic, this is the best time for you to subscribe to my channel. I talk about leadership advice, leadership guidance, how to really communicate at a higher level than your peers. If you are really trying to stand out as a person, as a leader, this is the place for you to be. I work with women in leadership, but a lot of my audience are people that are not necessarily in that target. So I'm here to support any one of you that are here on your journey. So I want to say hello to Vuk Remick. Hello, welcome, welcome. Golden Cheese Cookie. Hello, welcome, welcome. Let me know where you all are joining from today and what questions you have about trying to elevate your career in terms of where you're trying to go. So I want to go ahead and start with a couple of strategies that will help you. There's 3, and I went through these same 3 strategies when I was making that change for moving forward in my career. So this topic itself is definitely a higher level topic. This topic is really for those individuals that are at a serious point in their career where they're trying to elevate themselves. So if this is too above what you're thinking about going into this evening on a Friday, I understand. I completely get it. But this is definitely more of a serious conversation about how can you really move forward in your career. So I have been through that stage myself, and I want to share with you some of the things that I did personally when I was at that point in my career where I was trying to figure out exactly what I want to do. The first preface I would say, specifically as it relates to gaining career clarity, is to think about what it is you want to do. So I would say for me personally, some of the things that I was going through many, many years ago that I found to be unclear for me was I just didn't know the direction I wanted to go in my career. Now, at that particular time, I was practicing as a general dentist, and I was actually at a place where I was working as a C-suite. And I knew that I wanted to do a lot more in my career, in my life, but I just wasn't sure exactly what was going on. So before I go into that, let me look into the chat. So Pro BTC, welcome back, welcome back. Thank you for your support, Pro BTC, and also Golden Cheesecake also. What's happening in the chat for those of you who can't see is that there's a person on the chat that just keeps like spamming us random silly things. And I appreciate Pro BTC and Golden Cheese Cookie for telling them to stop spamming. So I appreciate you all. Thumbs up, high five. Because this is a serious topic. I mean, there's a lot of people here that are trying to advance in their careers, and they may have questions. They may want some guidance on how to navigate those career changes. So this is not the conversation where we're just spamming and typing silly things that make no sense to anyone. This is real talk. And on my channel, I talk about real situations, real strategies, real solutions. And this is for the leaders. Okay. This is not for the people who want to just play around on a Friday evening. These are for people who are really serious about trying to grow in their careers, serious about trying to make some additional money in their careers, and serious about making a big impact on the world. So if that is you, like Pro BTC and Golden Cheese Cookie, then this is the place for them. If you are spamming and being a bit silly, then this is not the place for you. Okay. So I want to see, for those of you who are here still, if you can let me know if you have any questions. Golden Cheese Cookie said, I actually want to listen for my future. Absolutely. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask me, Golden Cheese Cookie, please. I'm here to support you on your journey and give you any guidance, any insights that can help you. I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I really want to make sure, because a lot of people struggle with a point in their career where they feel unclear. Everybody that is in a professional setting, as leaders, we have all had this happen before. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Ramik says, okay, let's see, say something about a card because it's my birthday. Well, happy birthday. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I appreciate you spending your birthday with me here live on YouTube. Okay, so I want to talk a bit more about like what happened to me. Why did I go through this phase in my career? And then the steps that you can take to get at your place in a good situation where you gain a little bit more clarity in terms of what you want to do for your career. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is really think about what you're good at. Okay, and what happened to me is that I practiced as a general dentist, and I was a C-suite executive, and I knew I wanted to do a bit more with my life and a bit more with my career, and I wanted to make a bigger impact on the world, but I didn't really know how to do it. So I was at that place that is in the title where I was unclear on my career direction. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So what I started to do, and this is the first strategy that I'm sharing with you that I want you all to do if you have questions about your career and you're not sure of where you want to go, is to think about what really energizes you. What are the things that you like to do and you could do all day long? So for me, at that particular time in my career, I knew that I wanted to help people, but more specifically, I could talk about leadership, public speaking, communicating at a higher level all day long. I knew that this is something that I was incredibly passionate about, but I really, honestly, at that time, I didn't know how could I make this something? I didn't know what that something was. And that's for me, just being quite candid with you all. I really didn't know what it was. I had no idea. I knew what I liked to do, but I didn't know really what I wanted to do or how to make it something that can go into a career. So that's the first thing. Think about what really makes you excited. What can you talk about all day long? Literally all day long, that you could talk about all day long, that you are known for. So that's the first thing. Put that together first. Now, the second strategy I want to share with you is to think about what other people reach out to you for. I share this because oftentimes what happens is that people will actually tell you what you're really good at because they want to know where you are, they know that you are the expert in this. So what happened to me, for instance, and then I'm going to go to the chat, is that people would typically come to me for hard stuff, very hard, complex situations, whether it was an employee, majority of the time, business related. I always got the very hard questions like, how do you manage this complex situation? What do you do? And I realized that there was an opportunity for me to be able to do more with this by combining the wanting to speak, and I love public speaking, and figuring out, well, how can I put that together to talk about really hard complex situations, which brought me to becoming an executive coach. So before I go into the third strategy in terms of what I did on my journey to get me where I needed to be, let me go to the chat. So we have Golden Cheese Cookie. Oh, actually we have Sharvi Sharma. Welcome, welcome. Golden Cheese Cookie says, for me, I like to paint, but I never found time to do it. But I'm not sure I want to make it my forever career. Okay. And Golden Cheese Cookie said, I'm good at learning languages, but I'm just too lazy to do it. Okay, well, let's go to your first comment first. So if you're not sure if you want to have something as your career, it is okay if it's something that you want to have as a hobby or something that you like to do. So there's a lot of things that I like to do that I don't necessarily do all the time. But as you are developing your career, a Golden Cheese Cookie, one of the things that you can think about is the big picture. So let's think about the big picture. Golden Cheese Cookie, what is it that you would like to do overall? Like, what would your ideal career look like? What would you be doing? Would you be doing a bit of painting from time to time? Would you be speaking to other people in other languages occasionally? Would you be doing something else? Just let me know. This is what I do with my executive coaching clients on a one-on-one basis to help them gain more clarity on their next moves. So I would say for you, think about the big picture. What's the big, big dream that you want to have? That is where I would start. So Golden Cheese Cookie said maybe. So that might be it. That may be a good place to start. What are some other things that you like to do? So we have painting as one, and then the second is learning languages. So maybe there's a language, maybe start with one language that you want to start learning more about and becoming more fluent in it, or at least having a conversational knowledge of it that you can start working on. And so you may not necessarily have painting as your full-time or your main career, but I found that when you're able to really identify the things, those type of activities or skill sets that make you just feel happy and feel very accomplished, if you can find ways to just incorporate them along the way, it doesn't have to be your main role. It could be something that you do once a quarter, or it could be something that you do twice a year. It could be something that you do once a month. It really just depends on what is important to you and the big picture of what you want to have in your life. And that's really where I started when I was trying to figure out my next steps in my career, because I'd already been practicing as a dentist. I was already a C-suite. I was already at that higher level, but I wanted to do something bigger and more than that. And I had to really think about what are the things that I enjoy doing. And I believe you've already identified a few things already: painting, learning languages. So maybe let's focus it in on how often do you want to paint? Since we know we're not sure if you want to make this your forever career, how often do you want to paint? Do you want to paint once a month? Do you want to paint once a quarter? Do you want to paint 2 times a year? Maybe find out what that is and think of, okay, well, if I can maybe paint once every 2 months, then I would feel like I'm having that balance in my career that I'm looking for. And it's good that you're looking for this now, because a lot of people struggle with this and they are very seasoned in their career, and they get to the point where they get frustrated with their careers and they don't know what to do. They become burnt out because they have not taken that time to have that deep self-reflection like we're doing now, to really think about what it is that makes you really happy. Like what is it that you want to see in your career? So maybe let's start there. That might be a good place to start. So Golden Cheese Cookie said, I would like to be a flight attendant. It's pretty good for me, because I can learn many languages if I'm just very, very consistent. Wow. Well, that's a really great point that you brought up about being a flight attendant. So I'm glad that you mentioned about being a flight attendant. Let me share with you why, because that ties into my third strategy, and then we'll keep going on into dialogue today because I really want to help you all gain some clarity in your next career moves. So, when you talk about being a flight attendant, there comes a point where the third strategy I'm going to share with you about gaining that clarity in your career is to take a action. So, golden cheese cookie. The very first thing that you mentioned here was about some of your hobbies that you like. And now we've dived a bit deeper, and we see that flight attendant would really actually help you to learn the languages because you'd be flying to different places. And that's something that you might want to do. So what is the one step, action, task that you can complete today that would help you make that next step to becoming a flight attendant? It could be many things. You might want to look at different airlines. You may want to see if you have anyone that you know as a flight attendant. You may want to check out a few things on YouTube or social media. You probably have already done a lot of that, but I'm just mentioning this for the sake of everyone else so that we're all learning together, is that it comes to a point where you have to take the action. Like, this is why you have a lot of people that dream all day long and think about what they want to do in their life, but they never ever do it. The reason why they don't do it is because they're missing this very third and very important strategy, which is you have to take an action. There has to be some movement to this goal. So I'll share with you personally what I did. So I mentioned, for those of you who are joining, welcome, welcome. Let me say TikTok audios, hello, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here today. So one of the things that I did when I was at that third stage, that third strategy I shared with you, Golden Cookie and everyone else, is that I had to take an action. So I knew that I wanted to help people. I knew that I like speaking all the time. I knew that people came to me for those really hard, complicated situations that I would always be able to figure something out with. And so the action that I made, the one action I made, was I started looking up roles that would allow me to do that. And what I found during my search, and this is the action that I took, and this is exactly what I did to be in front of you right now, was to search different careers that would involve those categories I've mentioned to you. And so the things that came up for me when I was at that point in my career was that I found consulting as one, and I also found coaching as a second one. Now, at that time, I knew this much about coaching. Zero, nothing. I knew nothing about coaching. And I spent a bit of time learning more about it. And I ended up going to a certified coaching program with Goal Imagery Institute. And I became a certified holistic life business and executive coach there, and career coach also. So that's how I took an action. I started doing research, I started learning, and I had to take a step to say, what am I going to do? After you've learned what you're going to do, then you have to move. And I did a coaching program for a very long time. And then I spent some time just learning everything. And I saw how coaching, being an executive coach and working with the coach, will absolutely change your life. I cannot overstress this enough. If you are trying to accelerate your career growth and you're feeling really stuck and you're not sure where you're going, definitely work with a coach. For sure. Work with an executive coach, work with a career coach, depending on what you have going on. I personally do both, but you want to work with a coach that will help you move forward. And that's what we do, is to help you dive forward. So let me go back to the chat. All right. So Golden Cheese Cookie said, maybe 2 times a week or 3. That's fantastic. So at least you have an idea as to what that looks like for you. So that's good. That's a really great strategy. This is what I do with my clients in a one-on-one executive strategy session or executive coaching session, is to dive deep. We have to figure out what it is that's going to make the big picture come together so that you feel like you're not feeling so stuck in your career. Most of the time when people feel stuck in their career, They don't have the time to do the self-reflection, as we was mentioned earlier. We just get busy. We get busy with life. There's so many things that go on, and then we blink, and it's 5 years later, and we're like, oh my gosh, I'm still doing the same thing I did before. This happens all the time. The other reason why people get stuck in their career is that they're not finding that balance that allows them to use the many skill sets that they know that they have. Now, sometimes you can't use everything all of the time, but just as we're talking with Golden Cheese Cookie, maybe Golden Cheese Cookie wants to paint 2 or 3 times a week. That sounds like a great plan. So there's always a balance there. Okay, so Golden Cheese Cookie said, I get frustrated a lot over painting when I make mistakes. Well, I personally am in the artist field somewhat because I practice as a dentist, and there's a lot of art that goes into it. But it's okay. It can be frustrating, but no one's perfect. A lot of times when you make mistakes, it's the best way for you to be able to learn. And a lot of times people think, oh, I made a mistake, this is bad. But honestly, making mistakes, believe it or not, is a very fast lesson for you to learn what to do right the next time. So I would much rather want to make mistakes, and then I know, okay, well, if I'm painting something, then I know maybe I don't want to use these two colors together or use these two techniques together, or perhaps I don't want to be painting in this room where the lighting is off, or I don't want to paint when I just had a really rough day at work. There's a lot of things that factor into what we do. And so take anytime a mistake is made as a learning opportunity, an opportunity for you to even grow further in your knowledge, because you are setting yourself apart from other people. I can tell you there is countless business owners that talk about making mistakes. And the one thing that they say, Golden Cheese Cookies, is to make your mistakes fast. And when you're early on, make those mistakes quickly, as long as it's not costing you your life, a significant amount of money, and your sanity. Make some, if it's okay if you make mistakes, because you need to learn from those mistakes pretty quickly. There's a lot of business people, a lot of business influencers that say that. Even on YouTube, people say just record your videos, even if it's not perfect, just hit record, just record. They may not be good that initial time. I'll tell you, on my channel, many of the videos that I've done in the past, now my live videos are a bit different, but my videos earlier on in my channel, they're a lot different than what they are now. Way different. Now, I don't have the studio like I know I'm going to be working with very soon with my channel, but you'll see the transition on my channel where you'll see my videos and then you see my lives, and my live streams is where I spend most of my time. So much time that YouTube has noticed I spend a lot of time on live streams, and they've invited me to be a member of their YouTube live streamer research panel to shape live streaming on the platform. So it's okay if you make mistakes. It's all right. Just learn from them and continue to move forward, and don't let that stop you from having that a part of your dream. Okay, so Golden Cheese Cookie said, hey, thank you really for your advice, but I need to go. I hope you still make these streams in the future. Have a good day. Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for being here. I appreciate you, and your dialogue is so incredibly helpful. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. I'd be so happy to have you back. And I have live streams pretty much Monday through Friday. I have a ton of live streams on my channel right now. I have a lot. So if you want to dive more into leadership and go into that next level in your career, this is definitely a place for you to be. Feel free to subscribe and like the video, and just check out my live streams, and you can reach out to me if you have any questions at all. All right. So we talked about specifically a couple of things. So I went over a few strategies, and I appreciate Golden Cheese Cookie for giving me some really great dialogue to help you and help us go through this particular topic, because this is important. A lot of people struggle with this, regardless of their women in leadership or if they're men in leadership. People struggle with gaining that career clarity. They're not exactly sure what they need to do. So I want to provide a very brief summary overview for those of you who are still present on the live or have joined in later. First, before I even go into it, if you have any questions like Golden Cheese Cookie, you want to get some guidance in terms of how can you start to navigate these changes that happen in your career, how can you start to move forward and become unstuck, this is the time to ask me. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'll be happy to provide you with anything, any support that I can to help you start thinking about things differently so you can elevate yourself on your career journey. If you feel like you want to get some additional customized support, then reach out to me for an executive strategy session where we'll go through your specific situation, what's going on, and develop a very good game plan to help you move forward in a strategy that will allow you to accelerate your career growth. If you're looking for an even deeper transformation where you know that you are at one place and you know you want to elevate to the very best capacity as you can be, then contact me for The Real Executive Woman. It is a transformative leadership experience that will allow you to master some of those very, very important skills that you need to stand out as a leader. Now, what we talked about here is 3 steps that will help you to gain more clarity in your career. These are the moves that you can start making today, right now, to help you move forward in your career. The first strategy, and I shared with you my story. If you didn't watch it just yet live, go back and watch the replay when I publish it. But I shared with you a bit about my story about why and how I'm in front of you right now. So the first strategy that I did when I was a bit unclear in terms of my career, in terms of where I want to go, and this is not me at the beginning of my career. This is when I was at the height of my career. So it doesn't necessarily mean career clarity does not mean you have to be just starting. No, you could be at the end of your career and you're not sure where to go. So the first thing that I did personally was I took some time and I thought about what it is that makes me just energized. What are the things that I can literally talk about all day long? So I figured out what those things are, and I encourage you to figure out what are those type of skills, topics that you could just talk about all day long and it never even bother you if you talked about it all day long. That's number 1, to gain you some more clarity. The second strategy that you can start using is to think about what do your friends, your colleagues, your family members, or loved one, or etc., what do they come and talk to you about? What do they come and ask your guidance on in terms of life or situations in general? Because a lot of times it's hard for us to see ourselves. It's a bit easier when someone sees us. And what I found is that when you're having those conversations with your friends, your colleagues, your loved ones, or etc., they are actually showing you what you are really good at. This is what people need from you. And finding out what you're really good at and what you know you're good at is definitely very powerful. And that will lead you into the third strategy, which is to think about the next move. There has to be some action. There has to be some strategy. You have to make a move. And if you do not remember any of the strategies, the first 2 I told you, the third strategy by far is the most important one. Because what happens oftentimes when people are stuck in their careers is that they have a big vision. They have a big vision. They have a big dream. Oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. But the last part that's missing is the action. You have to do what you're really good at. Unless you take an action, it will just stay a dream in your mind. And if you are watching this video or subscribe to my channel, I'm here to share with you what can help you move forward in your career, not the dreams that you just want to keep dreaming all day. I want you to make your dreams a reality, just the same way that I'm doing every single day when I'm here with you all. So taking that next step, what is it? What is the one thing that we talked about in our live that you can start doing, not tomorrow, not next week, not 3 months from now, not 6 months from now, not a year from now? No, leaders. What is the one thing that you can do today, like right now, as soon as this live is over, that you can start doing that will help you to take that next step in your career? It has to be an action. Whether it's you looking up something, whether it's you making a phone call, whether it's you sending a text message to someone, whether it's you sending an email to someone, take an action. Don't wait. The longer you wait, the longer life will go pass you by, and you will wake up. This I can guarantee you. You will wake up years from now and say, why didn't I do this? I'll give you a perspective for me personally that I did not do when I was younger and wish that I could have done. And I regret it a bit today. So for me, on my end, one of the things that I wanted to do and I wish that I would have done is that I wish that I would have actually traveled the world a bit more than just being based in the United States. That is something that I had the opportunity to travel more. I've traveled all over the United States, to different states, to many places at this point. But I wanted to have that experience to travel outside of the US and go to different countries and visit different countries and do just different things to experience different lives. And I did not do that when I was younger. Now I'm at the point where I'm here, I have three beautiful children, and I'm not at the place where I can just like hop and just go to different countries just anytime I want to. I can't do all that at the moment. At some point I will, but I share this with you because sometimes when we're at that point in our lives where we're trying to figure out like what I want to do with my career and how do I want to move forward, and we just don't do anything, then you look back and say, oh, I wish I would have did that. And so that's one of the things for me personally. I don't really have many regrets, like hardly any regrets, because I believe in moving forward, but I wish I would have traveled some. I really do. And every time when I meet somebody that's just coming out of school or young, I tell them travel while you can, do what you want to do and enjoy life, see different things and learn different things. And just know that this is a part of moving forward. You don't want to just wait. So don't wait. Don't wait on your career goals. If you want some help and you need some support and you just know that you need somebody to help you make that action, then contact me. Reach out to me for an executive strategy session. I would be happy to have a conversation with you and just talk to you about where you are, where you want to be, and come up with a plan to help you get there. So I want to know from any of you, what are some tips? What are some things? What are some topics that you really enjoyed in the live? What are some aspects of the live that you want me to go into more detail on? There's plenty of things I can talk to you more about, but I want to know from you, what type of information and support do you all want to see moving forward in the lives? There's a lot of different topics that we have going on right now. I have several polls, and you'll start to see those more on YouTube and on my communities page. So make sure you subscribe and hit the notification icon so you don't miss out on anything. But there's a lot of different polls I'll be running because I want to gain more of a sense of what that you all want to learn more about here. I get an idea by the views that come up on my channel, and that helps me to learn a bit more about you and kind of some of the topics that you want to learn more about. I'll tell you the topics that come up the most that I have seen so far on my channel are topics that are related to difficult conversations and rambling when speaking and being able to stay calm under pressure. I see that those tend to get more views, and I understand why, because as leaders, oftentimes it is very difficult for us to just know what to do in certain situations, because many of us, when we're going into our leadership roles, we're pretty much just handed this bag of issues, right? If you're a leader, you know what I'm talking about. They just give you all these problems and say, here, fix it for me, please. And you're trying to figure out, well, how do I fix it? I don't even know what I'm doing. And oftentimes this happens as leaders. So I understand why these topics come up often and why people want to get some more support on them. So let me know what you want to learn about. Is there anything, for those of you who have just joined, welcome, welcome. Is there anything specifically that you want to learn more about? Whether it's career clarity, whether it's life as a woman in leadership, or life as a leader in general. As I mentioned in the beginning, I know that I have a lot of people in my audience that are not women in leadership, but I know that they care about being leaders. So I'm here to support you all just as much as I am to support women in leadership, because this is overall my mission here, is to help you all to become better leaders, better communicators. And I wouldn't even say better leaders, better communicators. I want you all to become exceptional communicators, exceptional leaders. I want you to be at that higher level that we need in the world today. So if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. Let me know if there's any other topics you want to learn more information about. Follow up on my polls. Feel free to hit a response and let me know what it is that you want to learn more about, and share this content with other people that you know are trying to elevate themselves, how they communicate, how they speak. Maybe they want to try to build some charisma as a leader. Feel free to share my information to them so that they can join us. Also, I go live on YouTube very often so that I can provide you all with some real-time support. I am going to start transitioning, not outside of lives. So lives are going to be the same. Those are going to be the same. That is something that I'm doing right now, especially being a member of the YouTube live streamer research panel. I'm going to keep up with the same cadence I had before, and I appreciate you all for just being present and really supporting me on the lives and being here, because the reason why YouTube is paying attention is because you all are engaging with me, so I appreciate that. But I'm going to continue with the lives in terms of the format for that, so that will continue to be during the week. I've started uploading more shorts, so I want to test it out and see how this is helping you all as well with those very quick wins. So you'll see those coming back on my channel. If you've been with me for at least a year or so, I did a lot more shorts last year. I took a bit of a break because I was focusing a bit more on the business, and then I transitioned into lives, and now I'm at the point where I'm seriously really growing the channel. So you'll see some more shorts on here also. The one thing that you're going to see that's going to be a lot different than you probably have seen recently is I'm going to do a bit more of the reaction videos. Somewhat reaction. It is going to be more heavily focused on specific techniques that you can either use or make sure you don't use from visible leaders in the world today. If you have a leader and specifically a specific leader that you want me to take a look at in terms of how they communicate, how they speak, maybe there's something about how they speak that you really like, and you're just like, oh, I really like it when she speaks, or I really like it when he speaks, then let me know. I will pick it apart and I will show you what they're doing that is making you like it so much, so that as you are communicating with your teams, with your stakeholders, with your board members, that you are communicating that same level of energy that you're seeing in other leaders that you want to make sure is coming across every single time when you are communicating with someone else. So I'm going to do a bit more of those type of videos. The equivalent of that would be similar to the presidential debate for last year that I did. There's a video I pre-recorded where I went through both of the candidates, what they did really well, what they didn't do that well, just a small excerpt of it. And so it'll be that type of video, because what I found is that people really do struggle with the speaking aspect. And I learned a lot being in Toastmasters, and of course eventually becoming a distinguished Toastmaster with them, and going through that whole process to get the award, that there's just certain things that it's hard to grasp unless somebody points it out to you and shows you, this is why this is so amazing, or this is why this is very offsetting and nobody wants to listen to this person. It's hard if you have not been told how to do it, but if you have been told how to do it, then you can adapt these strategies, these higher level strategies from various leaders, into your everyday conversation. So my goal is, when I do these type of videos, in your everyday conversations, you can simply pull in some information or some strategies or some techniques from these leaders that you're watching into your meetings, and that will make you stand out as a leader. That is my big mission. I want to bring all of these type of leadership challenges, or how to communicate in hard situations that you see day to day. I want to bring them way in the sky where they are, and bring them just down to everybody here on my channel, so that they can feel empowered to communicate at that very high level too. Because if you can communicate at a higher level, automatically this will help you accelerate your career growth. And there's a short that I did, I believe it was today. I talked about why leaders win, and why leaders win is that they know this secret. And if you haven't watched the short, I am going to give it away because I'm just talking to you all right now. But why leaders win is that they are able to master public speaking. And if you can really master public speaking, it will set you apart from everybody else. And you may be wondering as a leader, why? Public speaking, isn't that for TED Talks and for meetings and conferences and etc.? No, that's the biggest mistake that people make you think is why public speaking is important. However, think about it in this perspective, and I talk about a little bit about this in the short video, but think about it this way. If most people are terrified, completely terrified of speaking in public, then if you can master speaking in public, where do you think you'll be? You're going to be at a different level. You're going to be at a higher level than your peers. And that is the reason why I hope you are subscribed to my channel, because my goal is to help you communicate at a higher level than your peers, regardless of where you are on your journey. So mastering public speaking is really important, which is why I want to try to bring these type of videos back to my channel. They did get a lot of views when it was around about that time during the debate. And I do believe that this will be helpful for the audience. So those videos will be more pre-recorded videos. There may be a live here or there if it's like a big issue that happened or something along those lines, that I may do a live. But once I get everything set up on the tech side, more than likely initially it's going to be pre-recorded. I just want to know from you, what are some leaders that you want to learn from? Like, what are some things that you're noticing from different leaders or communicators or speakers in your country, whatever it may be, that you just say, oh, I really like it when this person speaks, but you just can't figure out what it is that you like, that you see when they speak. I will figure it out for you and share it with you so that you can use it in your everyday conversations as leaders. So if you have any questions, let me know. I really just appreciate you all for being present during the live today. And I appreciate your support as always for being here and liking the videos and being present and having dialogue. If you have any questions specifically for me, feel free to let me know. You can reach out to me at Excite Excellence on Instagram, and you can reach out to me at Dr. Jacinta Lamantai on LinkedIn. I'll be sure to respond to you. Just let me know I saw your content on YouTube, or I saw a video on YouTube, and we'll set up some time where we can maybe have a brief chat, talk about where you are, and then go over some next steps, whether we do an executive strategy session together, whether we get you into a larger program in terms of the Real Executive Woman, or perhaps we do a VIP day where it's just you and I, we work together with some of the challenges that you're facing right now as a woman in leadership and help you get through a couple things. So let me know how I can support you. Let me know what you want to learn more about. Let me know what you want me to share with you from my over 20 years of experience being in these type of leadership roles to help you on your journey. So I look forward to seeing you all next week during the live. I will have a new batch of topics to talk about because my polls are going to probably come out on Saturdays. So make sure you stay tuned for the polls on Saturdays and vote on the topics or situations that you want to learn more about. So I'll see you all in the next video, and take care. Bye for now.